The Chicago Fire went up against Orlando SC and ended up in a 1-1 draw. Although a draw at home isn't the worst thing in the world, it ended up being a frustrating match to watch because the Chicago Fire conceded in the first 4 minutes of the game. And I don't want to talk to you about it, but I need to talk to you about it. You're watching Firewatch FC. And before we keep going, don't forget to like and subscribe on this video. It would help me out a ton. Now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. You should know how this goes already, but it's green boxes for good performances and red boxes for bad ones. And the first red box for today is going to go to Acosta, Navarro, Chijos, and Pineda. This is probably the most crowded red box that I ever gave, but it's for good reason. In this match, the Chicago Fire conceded a goal that was 100% avoidable, and these four played a massive role in conceding the opening goal. In the 3rd minute, Orlando City's Facundo Torres received the ball in front of goal. From there, Acosta, Navarro, Chijos, and Pineda all scrambled for the ball. And at some point or another, every single one of those players had the ball right on their feet. And none of them were able to clear the ball. It honestly looked like slapstick comedy, like something you would see from the Three Stooges. That goal was not only embarrassing, but humiliating to the Fire. It made the Chicago Fire's backline look like a clown show. And that is unforgivable. But before I move on, I do want to talk a little bit about their individual performances. Let's start with Acosta. I thought he had a boring game. He really wasn't around in important moments for the Chicago Fire's offense or defense. I took a look at the stats, and apparently he had close to 100% in passing accuracy. But when I was watching the game, I didn't notice any of them. And that probably has to do with the fact that only 2 passes were in the attacking third. So just like in previous games, he probably was sending the ball back to either Brady or the backline. And it looks like he was also 50-50 on winning the ball. It was a pretty forgettable performance. Even if he didn't play a part in conceding that goal, he was definitely not going to get a green box. He was probably going to get a call out. But if we move on to Navarro, I thought he had a pretty good match overall. He had that decent shot at goal, and he was able to stop Angulo without getting a penalty called. But he was very risky at stopping them. Don't get me wrong, I agree with VAR, it was not a penalty. But there was an incident a few minutes earlier that he kinda got away with. And that's the one where Navarro was chasing Ojeda. Navarro definitely hit him in the back of the heel, and I'm pretty sure VAR just missed that one. And if Navarro wasn't part of that mess in the 3rd minute, he probably would have gotten a green box. But like I said, that was unforgivable. And if we move on to Chijos, I thought he had a decent game overall. I did have some questions, like why was he so high up on the pitch every now and then? There were a few times where he tried to dribble past defenders. Chijos, what are you doing? You're a defender. Defend and make good passes. Leave the dribbling to someone else. Not trying to be mean, but he kind of looked like when Justin Timberlake tried to breakdance as a 40-year-old. I don't know, it just didn't look right to me. Anyways, let's move on to Pineda. Mauricio Pineda had his worst game of the season so far. He didn't win a single tackle, and he only tried to tackle twice. And he lost most of his duels, with only 40% of them being successful. I honestly expected a lot more from him. This performance was just bad. And in my opinion, he was probably the worst offender of that goal that we conceded to. So like I said, Acosta, Navarro, Chijos, and Pineda, y'all get a red box. And I'm sure you've noticed by now, but there's one center back that did not make it inside that box. And that's because Turan gets a green box. At first, I was shouting at my TV asking, where is Turan? But then I took a breath, I calmed down, and then I realized there were 4 defenders for 1 attacker. So you know what? I can forgive Turan for thinking that his teammates would be competent enough to clear the ball away. I realized that he was off to the side and probably could have guarded the corner of the net a little more, but to me that's ignoring the context that there were 4 defenders and just 1 attacker. So that's why he didn't get an automatic red box. But why did he get a green box, I hear you ask? It's because he carried that same form that he did against DC United. Carlos Turan saved the team multiple times today. Every time there was a breakaway, and there were a few, Turan chased the attackers down and prevented goals just by applying defensive pressure. He was also pretty dangerous for set pieces. I mean, the dude is 6'1". He's gonna be an aerial threat. And in this match, he had 2 opportunities to get a goal. Hopefully he's practicing his headers more, because if his headers were just a little bit more accurate, it would be a game changer for the Fire. Like I said after that DC match, this version of Turan has a place in Europe. Our next green box for today is gonna go to Hugo Kuipers. It's funny how just 1 goal can change the rating for a player. We saw that with the defenders, and now we're seeing it here with a striker. Because before his goal, Hugo Kuipers wasn't doing so well. Kuipers took a total of 4 shots today, and only 1 of them was on target. There was a bit of a sitter on the 20th minute that probably should have gone in. He also lost the ball quite a few times when he tried to dribble through defenders. But as the match went on, his performance started getting better. He sent a great through pass over to Arnold Suke. And he did a pretty good job at staying in the attacking third. And that's important because it shows that he trusts his team to get him service. And this time he got rewarded. The play started with a beautiful through pass from Haile Selassie over to Arnold Suke. Then Arnold Suke cuts it back between two defenders. And from there, Kuipers did not hesitate to get in the back of the net. Not only did that give us the equalizer, but it gave us a point at home. And I gotta say, it's pretty annoying that Kuipers ended up getting subbing out immediately after that goal. I don't understand what Kloppas's reasoning is for not giving him the full 90 minutes. We need to make sure that we keep him on the field for as long as possible. Maybe he's trying to keep him well rested for the game against the Galaxy, but the drop off from Kuipers to either Gutiérrez or Barlow is just way too steep. When Kuipers comes off the pitch, the Fire's attack just has no bite to it. He is invaluable to the Fire's attack. So, green box for Kuipers. And our final green box for today is going to go to Arnold Suke. Suke was subbed in after Gutman got injured on the 12th minute. And I'll be honest, with an early goal conceded and Gutman out, I thought our chances went up in smoke to getting points. And for a while, that looked like it was the case. But then Suke found himself in dangerous positions. And on the 70th minute, he proved that he can deliver when the Fire needs him. Should he be a starter? If Gutman is healthy, probably not. But is he a perfect depth piece? Absolutely. I know the Fire were trying to unload him in the last transfer window, but maybe they should reconsider. From what I've seen so far this season, Suke is a much better backup to Gutman than Gaspar is. So, for being dangerous in attack and getting the assist, Arnold Suke, you get a green box. Now let's move on to our shoutouts. Marin Haile Selassie gets a shoutout today. It's great to see him back on the team, and he played a crucial role in getting our one and only goal. Jonathan Dean also gets a shout out. I rate Jonathan Dean, and now it's his time to shine, especially with Gutman injured. We're still not entirely sure how long Gutman is going to be out for, so it was a pleasant surprise seeing Jonathan Dean get forward and join the attack. I always thought he was more defensively minded, but that was a pretty good shot attempt with his weak foot in the 74th minute, and I hope he keeps growing his attacking skills because he did a great job for the Fire today. And just like Arnold Suke, I don't think he should be starting if Alan Aragoni is able to play, but he's a great depth piece that the Fire can definitely rely on. And now I want to move on to our callouts, and that's going to go to Tom Barlow and Giorgio Gutiérrez. I think we've seen enough this season to know what Barlow and Gutiérrez can provide. Well, for Barlow, we kind of already knew that he was a bit of a defensive forward. And with the amount of minutes that Gutiérrez has been receiving this season, he might be exactly the same. Because both of them have missed sitters multiple times. And honestly, why would we want them out on the pitch without Kuipers? Maybe you can make the argument when there's a 2-goal lead, but they shouldn't be our hope for goals when we're down. Or tied for that matter. Also, why do all the best chances go to Barlow? He missed a great chance in the opening minutes. It's so frustrating seeing the Fire get a breakaway just to see that it's Tom Barlow at the end of it. That's just something that annoys me. But I don't know, maybe I'm just being mean. This is one of those draws that feels more like a loss than a win. The Chicago Fire have now extended their winless streak to 9 matches. But if you want to look on the bright side, we now have 2 matches that we haven't lost, and 3 games where we actually scored. So you could say that the Chicago Fire is gaining momentum in the right direction. Let's hope that that momentum carries on to the next game against LA Galaxy. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. 97 till forever.